Hi children, today we are going to do a new letter. What do you see here? Letter I. You often say, no, I'll do. Letter I. Now, what is the sound of the letter I? E. The sound of the letter I is E. To remember the sound of the letter I as E, we will sing a song. Learn a song so that you will never forget the sound of letter I is E. Now, let's imagine you have pets. Let's imagine that you have a tiny little mouse as your pet. Tiny mouse, white little mouse. Now, if writing ink falls on it, what will be the name of the little pet? You will call it Inky. Yes? So, your little mouse's name is Inky. Let's suppose you have a table. On your table, your little mouse pet Inky is sitting there. There's a bottle of ink. There's a table. Now let's sing. Supposing the mouse pulls the tablecloth, the ink falls on the little mouse. It will be covered with full ink on the table, on the floor. And you will call him Inky. So the letter I, sound is E. Let's listen to the song. You can sing with me. Shall we? Inky the mouse is my pet. She spilled the ink and got wet. The ink is spread all over the desk. E, 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 E. Inky is wet. Take it again, shall we? Inky the mouse is my pet. She spilled the ink and got wet. The ink is spread all over the desk. E, 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 E. Ink is wet. The letter I, the sound is E. Now that you know the song, you'll never forget. The sound of I is E. Now we'll look at some words that begin with the letter I. Shall we? Here is our first picture. What picture is this? Look, letter I. Now remember there is capital and small. And what do you see here? A beautiful picture of, what is it? Goat, an insect. I for insect, E. Letter I sound is E. Capital I, small I. Here you have a colorful insect, I for insect. Now, where do you see insects? Tiny insects are found in the house, in the kitchen, outside, on the road, on the tree, in the garden, anywhere you go, you find insects. Now, who's the best friend you have in the night who bites you, wakes you up? What is the name of that insect? Mosquito. Good. You leave your sweets around, and who comes to share? An ant. Good. Now, which insect frightened the little muffet? Can you remember? Yes, that is spider. This is called a ladybug. Ladybug is found in the garden. You find black ones and red ones like this. They look beautiful. Insects are everywhere. Which insect gives you fever? They come flying and mommy chases it out. Yes, Housefly. Housefly brings in fever. You can get sick. So do not leave your sweets and milk open. Capital I, small I. Letter I, sound is E. Ladybug, I for insect. Good. Let's take another picture that begins with letter I. What do you see here? Letter capital and small. And what picture is this? There is a little land with a little tree and water all around it. What is that place called? You call it an island. A small place with water all around it, tiny place, or any land with water on all four sides. You call it an island. I for island. Now, you know next to India, there is a large island. What is that? Right at the bottom? Sri Lanka. Very good. Now, island is a place surrounded by water on all four sides. People live there, plants grow there, all right? Animals live there. I for island. The letter I sound is E. And here's the picture of an island. I for island. Very good. Now let's go to another picture that begins with letter I. What do we see here? A bottle, a tiny little bottle, or you call it ink pot. A bottle with ink. Who uses ink, children? Your daddy, your mommy, then your teacher. Take a pen, fill it up with ink and use for writing. Letter I, sound is E, and here is an ink pot. Blue ink pot. And what did the little mouse Inky do? She toppled the ink pot and the ink fell on all over her and we started calling her Inky. What is the sound of letter I? E. I for ink pot. Ink. You can get ink in different colors. Red and green and blue and black. Yes? I for ink pot. Good. Let's go to another picture that begins with letter I. And what do we have here? Big letter, small letter. Letter I, sound is E. And here your favorite picture is here. What is it? Ice cream. There are different types of ice cream. Yes, it's ice cream and different flavors. You get ice cream in different flavors. Now, what are the flavors of ice cream you might like? You might like chocolate, vanilla, strawberry, pista, and whatnot. Now, ice cream. This is a cone ice cream. Let's read. I for ice cream. The sound of I is E. Ice cream. I for ice cream. Now, when do you eat ice cream? When on a hot day, mommy takes you out or daddy takes you out or daddy brings home a large packet of ice cream. You eat ice cream on hot days. When it is very hot, on your birthdays, at party. Yes, would you like to eat ice cream in the house or outside? Definitely in the house, and you feel happy about it. Now, when daddy brings ice cream, do you share with your little brother? Good. Letter I, big and small, sound E. Remember Inky. Inky the mouse, okay? Ice cream. I for ice cream. Shall we take another word that begins with letter I? Here we are. Let's look at our picture. Big I, small I. The sound of I is E. What picture is this? Ice. Good. Where do you find ice? In your house. In the fridge. In the freezer. Mommy keeps ice in the freezer. On a hot day, she gives you a cube of ice, put it into the water to make it nice and cool so that you feel good. Alright? Or she gives you buttermilk with a cube of ice and you feel very happy. Yes? Ice. Mommy can make ice in the house. Let's read. I for ice cube, because it is a shape of a cube when she makes it in the inside the fridge. Now let's read I for ice cube. So mommy uses ice cube. Sometimes when you fall down and you hurt your leg or your hand or your head, you go and bang somewhere, mommy uses ice cube. She says, don't worry, you will get all right. She put ice on the area where you banged. Letter I, sound, E, ice cube. I for ice cube. Very good. Let's take another picture. A word that begins with I. Yes? Good. Letter big and small I. Sound is E. Inky the mouse. What picture is this? This is a home of an Eskimo. Igloo. This house is made up of ice. They cut up blocks of ice and make their own home. And then when they go inside, it is warm inside. Right? An igloo made out of ice is an ice house to live in by the Eskimos. Now, where do you find ice? You find ice in North India, in the North Pole and South Pole. The world, big round world. At the end of both the poles, right in the north and in the south, it's very cold. So only ice is there. When you look around, you see sand here. But in the North Pole and South Pole, you find nothing but ice, ice, and ice. So the Eskimo builds a home with ice to keep him warm. Let's read. I for igloo. I for igloo. This is igloo, home of an Eskimo. Big letter I, small letter I, sound E. Igloo. I for igloo. Very good. Let's take another picture. A word that begins with I. Big and small letter I. Sound is E. How do you remember? Inky. Inky the mouse. What picture is this? Picture of India. India. A beautiful mother India. I for India. Where do you live? You live in India. Your land. I for India. Where do you find this picture? In your book. If you open a map book, you'll find the map of India. And then you can find out which place you live. You may be living in Tamil Nadu, you may be living in Maharashtra, wherever you live or wherever you go to, you can look at a map and see. Letter I, sound E. This is a picture of India. I for India. Now, how do you remember? Keep in mind the sound of letter I. The sound is E. Now, let's remember and sing that song. To remember the sound of I is E. Let's sing it again. What must you remember? Your little mouse who spilled ink over her. And what did we name her? Inky. Good. So here's your little Inky sitting in your hand. There's a table here with a pot of ink pot. Inky the mouse is my pet. She spilled the ink and got wet. Ink it spread all over the desk. Inky is wet. Take it again. Inky the mouse is my pet. She spilled the ink and got wet. Ink is spread all over the desk. Inky is wet. Letter I sounded E. Very good.